Check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. So I want to get straight into it. Um, Ignore the how. This is what it means when they say let go and let God. Let go of what you think you know and allow God to work. When the old folks will say, with your problems and shit, and grandma say, like, give it to God, let him figure it out. This is what they talking about is the best that we can do is to be crystal clear about your intentions or what it is that you're instructing the subconscious mind to bring into your reality, or whatever it is that you're praying to God about, to be as exact as possible as to what it is that you are wanting in return. That's what the ritual magic is for. It's a process that we're using to plant the clear intention into the deep part of our mind that is responsible for making it concrete in our outside world. When we talk about magic at the most basic level, we're just talking about deliberately taking an idea or a thought to take that out of the invisible world of our imagination where it exists first, and to make it appear in physical form in our physical world as an event or a relationship or a circumstance. And it's easier said than done when I say ignore the how. But what happens is why a lot of that shit is not happening for people, because I'm in different groups and shit, and like I'm in these just mostly just groups about manifestations and shit, and I'm always hearing people talk about like how they've been living in the end. So living in the end is just what I'm always talking about invoking that feeling of your wish actually being fulfilled already and that you have it. I mean, that's what it say in the Bible when they're talking about prayer and shit, right? It's saying the way you pray is to go in secret, go within, and claim it, whatever you're asking for, to claim it as already being done. It's a wrap. And give gratitude, give thanks for that problem being solved or whatever change it is that you're seeking, right? So when we talk about living in the end, that's all that's talking about, is assuming that feeling, right, of your desire being delivered already in real time. So people always talk about how they do the meditations and shit, and they be meditating that they're living in the end, but yet still they don't get what it is they want. I don't manifest everything it is that I don't manifest everything it is that I do magic for. Like, there's still some things that's in the works, and in the past there's been some things that I've gave up on. I set out and was doing the work to make it happen and whatever. And what happens is that we go right back and we accept the appearance. We accept the appearances to be actual facts. And again, whenever we consciously accept something to be a fact, then it is a subconscious job to make that concrete. We only have ourselves to convince that this shit is real. Once we're consciously convinced that something is an actual fact, is reality, then that's what it is. Every time. Anyway, quick story. An example of this is there's this female, used to be like my high school sweetheart. And I damn near ain't seen her since those days, right? But we was real cool, always been real cool. Good relationship. And life happens and we went different directions in life or whatever, right? But I always just still had a little thing for it though, right? So I always labeled her as the one that got away. Usually, everybody got that one. You got that one motherfucker that's like, man, damn, she the one that got away. But by doing this, and I've just been becoming aware of this recently, like just from studying and shit, and just having that epiphany of what the fuck I was doing in this certain situation. By me making up my mind that that's an actual fact, that she's the one that got away. This is most likely the main reason why it's been 20 years or so because the whole me not even realizing that I was doing it, but I'm already had my mind made up a long time ago. The reason why is because we live like 4 states apart, for one. She went off and got married. She got kids, got the whole family thing going on, got a good career going on and shit. So the outer appearances all are pointing at the fact that can't nothing happen there. Our best days are behind us. She's the one that got away. It's a wrap. That's what I mean when I talk about we go back to accepting the appearances, what our senses are telling us, what our conscious mind shows us. And we accept these things to be actual facts. And then as a result, subconsciously, we make that reality solid. We make it real. Let me hit this. You can test this in your own life. Think about the things. Look around at your own life. Look at the things or the area of life where you seem to have an abundance, right? With different people, like some people got an abundance of sex. Some got an abundance of finance. Some people got an abundance of food, eating. Some people got an abundance of drama. And then look at the area in life where there's a lot of lack, where there's a lot of struggle. There's a lot of it just ain't never enough. When you look at them two totally different states of consciousness, you're going to notice that your attitude in this area where you have an abundance is going to be totally different than your attitude is in this area where you struggling and where you lacking and where you're needing. It's the mind that makes the shit real. So when we're, let me hit this right quick and think what I want to say. In a world of magic, this is why we're always encouraged about not lusting for results. The more you're lusting for something and saying to yourself, I want it, I want it, I want it, you're at the same moment affirming to yourself that you don't have it. And a person doesn't get what he wants. A person gets what he's conscious of being. I was just looking around and I was just thinking about some of the things that I've didn't struggle with through these last few years that I wanted, that as of yet ain't fully appeared yet. And a lot of it is coming back to that, coming back to me saying, like, you can do some romance magic to attract a romantic partner, right? But if in between, after them rituals, you spend the rest of the day talking about how ugly you are, right? Or insecure because you overweight and they don't want no fat motherfucker, right? This is shit that I can point at now when I go back to look at shit. You know what I'm saying? We set up these mental blocks unconsciously, not even aware of it. Like just with our internal dialogue and the way that we talk to ourselves and what we agree to. Unconsciously labeling her, always saying that she's the one that got away. That's just some shit that I agreed to unconsciously, not even aware of it. Even in the little book, the Four Agreements, that's all about him talking about our agreements are the spells that we place ourselves under. I think that's what that book called. Four Agreement something? I have to look. But anyway, real shit. So now I'm like, nah, I'm unagreeing to that shit. Like, just because it appears that this person is so far away and there's so many obstacles in between and all of that shit, like, so what? Like, that's the old world. That's when I was agreeing to that shit. Like, that's when I had my mind made up already that there's no chance. Like, that's yesterday's shit. The one thing in the universe that is constant is change. Shit is going to change. Like, facts change. So, yeah. The solution that most philosophies have studying, when you studying like manifestation and such, is, or quantum physics, like is that when you are looking at that reality, meaning the reality that you want, when you are looking at that reality, you want to make it seem as real as possible in your imagination. One, but also the more that you're looking at that reality means that you're also siphoning energy from it, energy that it needs to ultimately manifest. It's said that the subconscious is something like a motherfucker who don't like you watching over their shoulder while they work. In layman's terms. Or God or the universe or whatever it is that you go with. The intelligence don't like to be looked at, don't like to be bothered. It wants to be left alone to do its work. And that's why the how is the biggest, is the mystery. The how is the mystery. So yeah. What else was I saying? I was saying. So in magic, you usually learn. They usually talk about going in your imagination. Okay, that's what I was saying. Like when you go into your imagination to make it real as you can, and all that shit. While you're doing that, while you're doing that, making your intentions clear, and then whenever that part is done, this is why they say put it out your mind and go on about your day and try not to think about it and try to consider it done. And if you do think about it, to just feel thankful, you know that it worked out and that you have whatever it is. And as I said, all of this shit is a lot easier said than done because it could be very difficult. It is difficult trying to convince, because as soon as you come out of those meditations, you're coming back to your everyday life. And your conscious mind is going to constantly be telling you, like, yeah, okay, that shit that you's doing, that shit's fantasy. Like this right here, this is real. Like, nigga, look around and these bills is piling up. And your bitch is about to leave you, nigga. And you know what I'm saying? Your house is out of order. This and this and this, right? So then consciously, you know what I'm saying? Then our conscious reality is constantly telling us the opposite, even though that we're dreaming of this. Everything that's going on in this world, the evidence seems to all be showing us something different. And then we go right back to accepting that reality to be our fate. Accepting that, accepting those appearances, the way things appear to be, as the real world. When ultimately, Neville Goddard explained it pretty good in one of his books. He's just talking about even when you cut the head off of a snake, right? That motherfucker is still, the body is still going to be having a reaction for some time. So even when you're changing mentally, because anytime you shifting your mindset, your physical world is going to be right behind it. It has to. That's how it goes. It has to. That's the way the shit works. But the evidence of yesterday's life is still there. Like it's going to be an interval of time, right? It's going to be a germination period that you got to go through, a transition period. And before that transition period is over, oftentimes we be already back accepting this reality as actual fact and got our minds made up, or we doubting. Now we doubting that other shit even happened. And doubt is killing more dreams than failure. That's what they say. So ignore the how. If you look at some of this shit in your life, and if you think about, really contemplate on how it got there, like literally, like what's the steps that took place, like how to this did this arrive, and then you'll be like damn, that's crazy. Like I would never thought of that manifesting like that. The how is the mystery, and the appearance, the way things constantly appear like they're going to be in our conscious life. Just know that it's not, it's only because you say so. It's only because that's the way you say shit is.